Alright, guys, well, here I am, and I fucked up tonight. I smoked weed like, I don't know, 3 hours ago. I shouldn't have done that. I know better than to do that. But this is why I did it. I mean, there's always a fucking reason. I always felt like if I was in trouble, that it's like, dude, let me tell you my reason why I did this. I wrote myself tens of thousands of checks from your checkbook to myself because I was on crack. It's not because I was some bad person. Smoking crack just makes you do bad person shit. Read a book, man. You know. But anyway, the reason that I smoked weed tonight, and when I smoke weed, it can be interesting. I can get more creative when I'm stoned for sure. I'm just not as like fast and sharp. Not that I ever am. If I have clothes on. If I'm naked. God, I look stoned too. Jesus, if I got like pulled over right now, I have like brown, like reptile jizz on my fucking chin right now. Hold on. I just wiped it with my own spit because I'm that foul of a person. And I got that spit from the floor. I was like, oh, brown spit. I'm gonna put this on my chin for later in case I have. All right, sorry. See, that was like one of those examples where I had like a short circuit signal kind of like fizzle out somewhere. It like kind of tells me shit. It's like, all right, 35 seconds, we're going to say butt fuck. Somebody will laugh somewhere, you know? And then 35 seconds passes and then my brain is trying to send me that signal and it's just like, just say something stupid you'll regret. And then I do. Then I think about it. So it's just this like never ending fucking cycle. But anyway, a year ago, I think this is when I really stopped checking comments. And I've been thinking about it a lot because I feel bad. People show me love. And like, there was a time in the very beginning when I would I would take the time to answer every single comment. And I think that's a good look, right? But last summer, somebody posted that I was running a scam with the Paul Project, that I'm using my dead best friend to hustle money out of people. And that we weren't even that close of friends. There's no pictures of me on his Instagram, which isn't even true, by the way. I think there's like 4, or at least a couple of us, and then there's one of my book that he took and talked about, and then one of a signed Fight Club I got him for Christmas because that was his favorite book and movie. I read the eulogy at his funeral. I still am good friends with his widow. I talk to her all the time. She's cool as fuck. She's like one of my best friends. And I keep her in my life for sure too, not just because we're good friends, but I feel that if I ever passed away, I would want my closest friends to keep in contact with Karina and Nico and Wyland, who's not here yet. Because there's this certain like energy obligation, you know, when somebody passes away that you were close with and you guys have somebody mutual, that energy kind of lingers. When you're together, it channels the person that you lost, if that makes sense, or if that's just fucking straight up cannabis talk. It's like one of those things that I'm like, damn, I regret saying that so much right now. Fuck. Maybe I should drink more water. Do I look cool doing it? So what I did is I went and I punched my refrigerator as hard as I fucking could. I was like, damn, I'm mad. I'm gonna make some bad choices right now. And I just punched the refrigerator. It had been 3-4 months where he just started talking Spanish to me. And it was like low-key disrespectful because I'm the only one in the house that doesn't understand it. So I showed him what the fuck. I was like, look, bro, I don't care what you are. I don't care if you're a person, a refrigerator. You're gonna fucking not speak Spanish to me when you know I don't get it. And he won. And I broke my hand. Nothing happened to the refrigerator. It's still in there. Every time I fucking walk past, it slaps my ass and calls me a bitch. I'm like, yeah, you shot that for sure. Wow, I hate being stoned sometimes because I don't know if like what I'm saying is up to like my normal standards. Although I will say this before this video. So that's what, so, oh yeah, back to why. I gotta finish. So I stopped working out for a year. Last summer, before I broke my hand, I was really going hard with working out. And honestly, fitness is probably something I know, it's one of the subjects in life, that and nutrition and literature. Those things are things that like I've studied so extensively that I really have a lot of knowledge with fitness stuff. Yeah, we're watching Knowledge. Yeah, it's with Ryan this time. Oh, yeah, I don't like him either. His refrigerator, his Hispanic refrigerator beat his ass. No, they still live together. Yeah, he's a punk, dude. So, when I broke my wrist, it really sucked because I couldn't work out anymore, and working out keeps me sober. It's like the kind of thing that I want to impart what wisdom I have about it on to everyone that I can. Because when I got out of prison in 2013, I was buff with a small dick, but I was the buffest with a small dick I've ever been. It was kind of a thing. Girls would be like, he's buff, but his dick is small as fuck. And he drives a Malibu. I don't know if it's worth it. Pros and cons. No, fuck that fool. You know, it's like shit like that. And anyway, that was the best that I ever did. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, that was my best, right? Right when I did 5 years, I came out a fucking different person. People took me seriously again, and they didn't before. Then I wasn't even buff. I was just some dude with a small dick. Just think about how much worse that sounds. Buff dude with a small dick dude. I'd way rather be buff dude with a small dick. The other option just is unacceptable. And so now, what would happen is I try to do push-ups in my hand, or especially pull-ups. Like I would try to do pull-ups and my hand just couldn't support it after I broke it. I never got it dealt with. I never got it set. That's how much of a procrastinator I am. Even if it's shit like that, where it's like, yeah, you're going to be permanently affected by this. I'm like, so? I don't want to think about that right now. Nah, I'm way too busy shooting heroin or whatever I was doing. No, I think I was sober. I was sober at that point. I started working out a little bit, lightly, the last couple months. You know, I've been dieting. I've lost a lot of weight. I look at like old videos that were just like a month or two ago, and I look like a full-blown beer drinker. Like I drink beer and eat corn dogs, fart, all that. And paleo's done me right, but you have to work in conjunction to that, or work out in conjunction to that. And guess what? I have been working out now. Now I'm taking it way more serious. The last couple days, I've been going hard, like doing real workouts. And it doesn't take long when you have muscle memory. Like, I want to look the best I can for my last interview for my film. And so, because I did legs yesterday, I was so sore. I was like trying to play baseball with Nico today, and like it was very hard for me to move at all. I started holding a torch. I'm like, I'm Liberty now. I'm not going nowhere. I'm still going to stand here. Oh, don't touch my face, man. God, when I'm stoned, I say stupid shit. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. You know, I don't know. I hope that that this can be coherent because I put some thought into this. But I started working out really hard recently. I'm so sore that like a few hours ago, I'm like, I'm going to smoke a joint. Now, right now I'm smoking this stuff. And it's an indica called Old Pal. It comes in a pouch, and it comes with rolling papers. Like, it's like literally like a pack of tobacco, you know. And this is legal in California. I make a phone call, and it comes to my house 30 minutes later. It's amazing. This is a half ounce that you get for $50. That's why I did it, because I was like, that is such a good deal. I would be a bitch if I didn't buy this right now. I ain't no bitch. What's up? I got 50. And, yeah, $50 for a half ounce of pretty fire indica. And it comes with the rolling papers. Even the rolling, like, look how classy this shit is. It comes with bridges and shit. Like, this is like, yeah. It's definitely, it's hot, tan, all of it. And so I smoked because I was really sore. I didn't think it was going to affect me the way that it did. And Jesus Christ, I just wasted 10 minutes. I could have just said, yeah, I smoked weed today because I worked out yesterday. And I'm using it as an excuse not to be sober. Man, I love you, poo-poo daddy. All right. This is a new series that I'm going to do. But I like these like crossover series ideas where it's like a subgenre of a storyline, like Henry, Origins. They like complement each other. Sex Files was a controversial series for a lot of people because people are like, I don't want to hear about you fucking when you were a kid, when you're like 15, 16, because it's kind of perverted. And I guess that's true. I probably shouldn't do that, so I'm not going to do that anymore. And I'm going to be more reserved about it. Also, this is the $20 tier. You guys are very close to my biggest supporters. I feel like I'm not doing enough and I need to do more. And I also feel like if I'm going to bring some shit to the $20 tier, it has to be fucking fire shit. You know, it has to be like just you beat off and sizzling hot smoke comes out of your cock and you're just like, it's like that, you know? Anyway, so this is going to be called the Beat Off Chronicles. I figure that if I don't want to talk about, because look, my whole life, people look at me as a drug person, right? Which I am, not in any way disputing that. But people tend to forget that I'm a sex person and that I always have been, you know, like I'm hypersexual. I'm a nymphomaniac. I know that sounds like some fucking seasonal serial killer or something. You like imagine some guy in like a parka and a ski mask just going around slaughtering people. But I am a nymphomaniac. It's crazy. The thing is so is Karina. And people tend to say that there's something wrong with us because we have sex pretty much every day. If you're going on percentage-wise, 365 days a year, I'd say we're like 93, 94% of that time we have sex. But I've always looked at it as kind of an art form. Oh, wait. I gotta throw some drip paint at the wall. Look at that craft, babe. She's like, yeah, let's keep fucking doggy style. Yeah. But are you admiring that too? She's like, of course. Your dick stinks. Let's fuck. I'm like, all right. And that's that. How mature. What a mature way to talk about your fucking soulmate, your lover. I'm just, you'll never change, man. And Sinister, don't change, bro. Don't change. All right. So, Beat Off Chronicles, as I was saying, you gotta realize, like, I am a very sexual person. Honest to God, I know it sounds corny, but I look at it as a form of expression. And that's how magical my sex is what I'm trying to say. But before I even started expressing myself with other people, women mostly, I was a beat-off bandit. This is going to be the Beat Off Bandit Chronicles. And we're going to go into some just perverted ass shit But honest to God, like, I'm going to put a $20 effort into it. And I want to do like 4 more of these videos for you guys this month. Maybe not all beat off Chronicle stuff, but it'll involve beating off. All right, let's get a weird ass dude. Dasani too. I hate Dasani. The reason that I drink it is because when we get Nico a Happy Meal, he only likes water in a cup. They don't charge you for water. So forever we were getting Happy Meals and just getting a free cup of water. I was like, no way. Can I get a 6-piece chicken McNugget Happy Meal? Toy for a boy. Apple slices. No sauce. Yeah, he doesn't use sauce. He's 3, thanks. No, he doesn't use that. Can I also get a bottled water for the drink? Excellent. Can I get an extra cheeseburger? Because he eats that as well. And let me get a cup of water. So now you've gotten the free water in between when you're asking for free water. Or this is the water that they would charge for. All right, I'm going to timestamp this so that it starts at 16 minutes because this is out of control. Thank you, weed. Jesus. Do you think he's going to talk about how he gets his Dasani? Jeez, I'm flailing, man. No, I have a feeling that it's going to be one of those things that gets me more creative right now. I'm thinking, I don't know. Who knows? It's unpredictable. Like, whatever it is, I'm posting this shit because I've been lagging. I have another one, too, where I finished that other sex files psychedelic hybrid that I did. Let's talk about stories that way. That's cool. So when I was a kid, right, when I first started beating off, I'm not going to go into the gory details of it, but I was watching Friday the 13th, part 4, and there's a scene in the film where these brunette twins go skinny dipping, right? I was like, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old. I watch it. I'm like, damn, I like what I'm watching right now quite a bit. I was like, oh my God, I thought something broke, right? I was scared. I was scared, to be honest. My parents were raising me Catholic at the time, and my mom's like, we should go to confession. I was like, considering in my head, I was like, should I tell the priest that I beat off? So glad that I didn't go through with that fucking plan. That never happened. And as I got older, actually, let's be honest, right from the get-go, the first time that I came in my life, I was in love. It was insane. I felt like I was listening to the Beatles. Like, I'm serious. It was like that kind of like just enlightenment. So, I didn't realize at that age that I had a masturbation issue. Like, I thought that it was normal. Just like with drugs that would come later in life, I didn't know that I was an addict at first, you know. It seemed like everybody was doing it, but my habit was always insane. Most people I know that did cocaine in high school did it on the weekends. I know like one other person, and he's a heroin addict now too, like me, who would do cocaine every day. Like we did, and I'm not exaggerating that. Like, I think sometimes people think I fluff up the stories or like exaggerate the use. People that know me in real life will definitely say that I minimize it, that I'm like way worse than I even let out, you know? Like, I am a hungry hippos cocaine cocksucking zombie, man. No, I've never done that. I've never been offered, though. I may have. If someone was like, dude, free drugs, all you gotta do is this. It's not that life-changing. But that never happened. Not that I'm saying that I wanted it to. I'm just, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck was. I was like defective or something. Nobody fucking asked me. It was weird. So I guess it got kind of weird at that time. Like right when I started beating off. Because I just could not do it. Like, let's just say that, you're up for 16 hours of the day. Back in that time, I was probably beating off for 3 or 4 of those hours. I'm not even joking. Like, it would get to the point where I felt like I lost weight. It was like doing some hardcore cardio shit for like an hour in like a sweat lodge. And then my room started just stinking like straight shit. My dad would come in and be like, wow, it smells awful in here. What have you been doing? I'm like, nothing. I'm fucking 11. I've been playing Super Nintendo. Can you get out of my room? Jesus. My mom would ask me, what's going on with your sheets? Like, why are there all these stains? And by that point, Jenny McCarthy and Carmen Electra and Pamela Anderson were like the shit. And I watched MTV and I probably acted like I was 21. Just sit there in my boxers, one hand in there like Al Bundy. And I'd kind of be in a perpetual masturbation fucking focus. It was super weirdo shit. And like, of course, at the time I thought it was normal. I thought it was normal that I would go to summer camp. And I could not be, like, I could not pee without beating off. Like, I'm like, I gotta go use the bathroom. I'm gonna just lock the door. Yeah, no, I'm gonna be in here for a good hour looking at the 2nd or 3rd page of the Surfer magazine so that there's the girls and the thong and the reef ads. I used to love those. I would always cut the fucking pages out and like fold it up, put it in my wallet like I was some sort of like John or fucking serial killer. Really weird stuff, So I get older. I'm probably 12 at the time. And my dad had gotten me a really nice computer. I will say, my parents went out of their way to make sure I had everything that I ever wanted in my childhood. And that didn't get, like, I didn't take advantage of that. I'm not like, dude, I want mosquito DNA so that we can clone fucking dinosaurs and open a park on some abandoned island. And if you don't do that, you're a bitch, Dad. I wasn't like that, but like within reason, I got what I wanted. And I don't know if that's necessary. And I'm so bad with Nico. Nico, we don't go to a store and he doesn't get like $40, $50 worth of shit every day. Anything he asks for, I'm just like, yep, I cannot say no. I like love him so much. I can't even say no to him. It's crazy. But anyway, my dad got me this computer. AOL was cracking at that point. I had girlfriends in AOL chat rooms like most people did at that time. Girls from Iowa and shit, or maybe some like weird pedophile in New York, but I thought it was a girl in Iowa. I don't even know. Like at a certain point, I didn't even care. I was just like, just knowing I have like 6, 7 cyber bitches right now is enough for me. Who cares if they're fake? All my friends were just like, man, how many chicks you cybered this weekend? I'm like, dude, at least 40 or 50. You know that I never go below my target number. I was like that, swear to God. And cyber sex, in case you don't know, is you would ask people, hey, I'm Ryan, 15/male/Santa Barbara, California. Anyone want a cyber? I'd be like in a chat room and people would respond. I'd be like, yeah, let's cyber. They'd send you like a face shot. It's like some busted ass chick from Iowa, but it's really some pedophile like wearing a mask or something. And then you'd be like, what are you doing? And she'd be like, I'm wearing a nightgown. I'm taking your nightgown off. I'm putting an ice cube close to your belly button. We're listening to the Top Gun soundtrack, the Take My Breath Away song, particularly. It's super romantic. After we're done, and I'm filmed in sweat, I'm gonna ride a motorcycle with a leather jacket on because I don't give a fuck. And I'd send it. Swear to God, like weirdo shit, you know? There's one thing I was always good at in life was writing, you know? I was always like able to like talk to girls well online. I always had like, it was like I was some pimp with like a stable of women. And that was my thing. I was sociopathic. Most kids were playing, you know, Nintendo, and I'm sitting there like with some like pretend Sims game version of pimping and pandering. No, you know what I mean though. Oh, and I remember one time. So my dad comes in one time, right? I'm on an AOL chat room, and I had told some girl that I wanted to have cyber sex, right? Her name was like Nikki7454 or something, you know, whatever it was. And so we're cybering, and I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm at my parents' house, but nobody's home. I'm like, cool, you know, and I spelled it like Kewl. I'm like, what are you wearing? You know, and she's like, just a towel, because I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, I'm taking that towel off, and she's like, I have to take a shit, and I'm like, huh? And like, I'm like, all right, this is super freaky, but like, even at like 12 years old, I knew that I was just down, you know? I was like, whatever. One day, I'm gonna have a celly named Taco that has a gold grill and likes this shit, so I may as well have some experience. This is knowledge, doggy. You know, I'd like tell my friends. And then I swear to God, this is 100% true. And she writes back and she goes, you know, I've always thought that taking a shit kind of felt sexual. Shit slithering out of your asshole. And then like, that was the point where I'm like, yeah, I'm about to be like, you know what? I want to break up. This is bullshit. You know, I'm carrying way too much weight in this relationship. You have like these weird poop fetishes. Fuck that. And my dad walks in the room and he's like, who are you talking to? And I'm on this chat room and he looks at the screen. I'm watching him read. Like he's like punctuating the sentences with like a nod. You know how people do that when they read? He's like, taking an S word has always felt sexual to them. Who the hell are you talking to, Ryan? Oh my God, it's some busted girl from Iowa, but it could be a pedophile. I don't know. I'm doing it because I have self-esteem issues. And my dad was like, he went ballistic. He was like, you're not having access to the internet anymore. You're like wrangling up perverts or whatever. And he took my computer for a while. So another time, right around, I don't know, he's around that time, he ends up giving me my computer back. So I'm playing the game Doom. It's like a first-person shooter game. That's weird. I wonder why we have a bunch of gun violence. Oh, we've been programming kids to do that for like 30 years now. That's cool. I'm just kind of that. Yeah, let's make some political points on your videos. I don't know. I believe in guns, but I don't. But like, I kind of like think you should be able to protect yourself. But like, all my liberal friends are like, that's not artistic, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, fuck guns then. I'm fake. All right. Anyway, and so I played Doom. A lot of porn at that time. Now back in that period, like I said, Carmen Electra, Jenny McCarthy, Pam Anderson. I had pictures of them all over my wall. Them bending over. Like, I was such a tacky kid. The rest of my life was so unpredictable. I can't even believe it, because I was like a pretty decent guy back then. No, I had like thong shots everywhere. I constantly beat off. Sometimes I like danced around and beat off. I was just a weird ass kid. And I remember you could download porn off AOL, but it would take hours. It'd take like fucking 12 hours to download like a 2-minute clip. And like sometimes it would be shit that I don't want. Like that kind of porn where it like is a close-up of some dude's balls and like a dick going in, and you're just like, God, like, As much as I love cock, imagine if that wasn't in here. God, the thumbnail sure did lie about this bullshit. And then, like, you know, I'd have to wait hours to do something else. So it forced you to just, like, beat off to shit that you don't even care about. It's, like, more like, all right. It's like when you get a present that you don't like, and you're like, sick. Thank you so much. I wanted this toaster. Fuck yeah. God, how embarrassing. I just can't believe I'm flailing so bad. I'm pretty sure that the video's coming out good though right now, because sometimes when I'm stoned I get more creative. And so one night I'm watching porn, right, on on my computer. I don't remember what it was, but it was something like foul, you know. It was like gangbang porn, like, I don't know. I was a gnarly kid. And I'm like just sitting there getting it, and I have my legs propped up, like on the like on the desk, like just spread wide open, like I'm a turkey or something. I look like a woman like delivering birth. Dude, that's how perved out and comfortable I was at that point at my parents' house in my room. And I'm just getting it, right? Like this would go, I'd be listening to like Dark Side of the Moon and shit, like while I'm getting it. And I don't know like how I saw it, but I just like knew that the door was opening. So I turned around really quick, and my dad walks in. I'm like, fuck. And I'm just like, it's the kind of thing where I'm like, man, should I like try to get in order really quick and like pull my pants back up, act like I wasn't doing anything? Or maybe I'll just like stay like this with my legs spread open, and he'll just think that I'm sitting here. Maybe if I'm all sudden, it'll be obvious. And it's like, you know, half a second to process that, right? So I just don't do anything. I don't know, I kind of like freeze up in fear. My dad's like, he has his hand, he always, when he was mad, he'd always have his hands on his hips, right? And he'd be like, what are you doing? Like nothing? I'm holding my dick. I'm like, nothing. What's up? What are you doing? I'm like, we literally just went over this. I'm just staring at my computer screen with my legs spread open. And I'm, you know, I don't know. I don't know why. You're going to have kids early. And he just walks out. I was like, what the fuck, right? So the next day, like it's awkward, right? The next day, my dad's like in the drive. I remember this. I was skateboarding. We had like a wax curb in front of my parents' house. And I'd be doing like little kid shit, like rolling up to it, like doing no slides, like not even hauling to it, just like being a little kid, you know, just nothing too fancy. And I see my dad and I'm like, look, it was so awkward because it's like he just saw me. Not only was I masturbating, I was masturbating like I was a fucking predator or something. Like who gets in like karate positions to fucking beat off? It was like super obvious that it wasn't just normal beating off. It was like, yeah, this is going to be like super atmospheric beat off. I'll have my legs spread open like that. I don't even ever get like that when I'm having sex. I didn't know what sex was at the time. But I'm going to do it anyway because it looks just, I bet it would look disgusting. This is fun, you know, whatever I was thinking. So I tell my dad, I'm like, look, I had to give a semen sample. I like probably researched it. You know, I was 12 years old at the time, but like as a 12-year-old, I gotta say, I had ingenuity for a kid. Like I was pretty clever with like how I did shit. So I knew to say that. I was like, I was providing a sperm sample, Dad. A sperm sample? He's like, you're in 6th grade. I'm like, I don't know. You know, one of the dudes, he's not even a teacher, he just works in the cafeteria. Yeah, you know, he asked us for semen samples. Really? What's his name? Jerry Locke. You know, I like made up some random name like that. So my dad kind of plays it off like it's not a big deal. I'm like, whatever, right? I thought it was a dead issue. The next day, police come to my house. I think I was like shooting free throws or something. I remember I was doing something on the driveway. I wasn't skating. Probably like shooting free throws or something. Cops were like, Ryan? I was like, yeah. I was literally in my mind, I'm like, damn. My dad probably snitched me out for beating off. You know, that's what I'm thinking. Now, at that time, I had wanted a new Nintendo. I think it was like a new Nintendo game. Yeah, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. There was like a Super Nintendo trilogy of Star Wars games, and I beat the first one, then Empire Strikes Back, and they're hard as fuck. Like, this was my life at that time. Like, this is what fulfilled me, right? And my dad wouldn't get it for me. And I remember that day that the cops came, I was thinking that he snitched me out for beating off. I was almost positive. And we were already fighting because he wouldn't give me the Super Nintendo game, and I was pissed off about it. I was I'm your only child. Like, what the fuck? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Just leave me to fend for myself without entertainment? What are you running here? This is torturous, man. Like, I talked like a straight up fucking attorney when I was a kid because I was really into language, and I'd like look up big words, and like I just try to mimic adults. So these cops are like, look, we talked to your father. I'm like, God damn. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, God damn it, you snitch. I'm like, yeah. Well, we just wanted to ask you some questions about the guy in the cafeteria at your elementary school. I was like, yeah. I still didn't kind of like put it together that like my dad had heard that and thought that I was getting like molested or something. The cops are like, there is no cafeteria. There was no cafeteria. I just made up some fucking name. I'm like, yeah, Jerry Locke, he works in the cafeteria. I was like telling my dad that because I was trying to get him to not think that I was a pervert. Because you got to understand, it wasn't the beating off. It was how my legs were positioned. It was the kind of thing that like your parents get you shock therapy for. They're like, hey, look, it's nothing personal. And I know it's kind of hardcore because you're 12, but like fucking put this on, and they shock you. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, you know, and they're like, well, we're gravely concerned about the fact that somebody, an adult, presumably, was asking you for sperm samples. Do you know that that's incredibly inappropriate and that you may have been a victim to an actual crime? And so I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, my goddamn dad ratted me out. I was too young to really, like, understand that my dad, it was like, he was just concerned. He was like, I got caught beating off, and instead of just owning up to it, I made up some fucking story about how some dude in the cafeteria was trying to, like, groom me. I'm sure that they were super, like, I gotta pee so bad. Is that weird? I'm gonna pee outside, which is even worse, but I'm just gonna do it. I apologize too. I know it's rude, but like, I really have to pee. And this is weird. I'm touching my dick right now. Fuck. And then I feel it's weird. Let's make eye contact. Let's make it weirder. Fuck it. Alright, now let me pretend like I'm shaking it, like it's bigger than it is. Alright. Oh, shit. So I'm thinking my dad ratted me out, right? I'm pissed off. And then I'm thinking about the Nintendo 64, or the Super Nintendo game, Return the Jedi, that he didn't get me. I'm like, I'm gonna tell him my dad's full of shit and he's making it up. I almost did. That's what I almost did. But I came to my senses and I'm like, all right, to be honest with you, I was fucking jerking off. And I was embarrassed because my dad caught me. Do you know what I'm talking about? And they both like kind of like, yeah. I used to beat off too. I'm looking at him. I'm like, fool, you beat off probably just as often as I do. Shut the fuck up. And like, you know, these were some like super square cops. And so, I mean, if I had just been a prick because I thought my dad ratted me out, and if I had actually said that I had no idea what they were talking about, that my dad was making it up, my dad probably would have been in trouble. You know, they probably would have thought it was some weirdo shit. So, I continue to beat off, right? Like, I mean, my beat off career, like, I'm not even trying to, like, make this sound funny or anything, but it was, like, pretty similar to what I believe a pro surfer's career is like. Because it got to a point that I beat off so much, it became monotonous. So my entire, like, beat off experience has been marked by places that I beat off at that were abnormal, unusual locale for masturbating. I remember I went on a school trip when I was in, I think, 7th grade. And it was in Washington, D.C. We were there for like a week. And every time we went to like the Capitol building, you know, the White House, like whatever it was, I would go to the bathroom and beat off. It was like my surf tour or something. Like, I don't know. It was, I'm not joking. Like, I looked at it ritualistically. Like, I think that I have OCD issues. Wait, what do you mean I have mental health stuff? It's why? Because you saw that footage of me when I was having a breakdown? Oh, okay. Yeah, I get what you mean. You know, just having conversations like that to nobody but yourself is fucking odd. So, I've talked about this before, but my beating off really took a turn for the worse when I was about 18 or 19. So now I'm an adult. Now I can be charged as a fucking adult criminal for being a beat-off bandit. I mean, imagine if I just got caught beating off somewhere. Arrested. Like, you know, they do not take kindly to you when you get caught beating off. Imagine being in jail. Hey, dog, to be completely honest with you, kinda, I got in a fight with my baby mama, and I fucking, you know, I did what I had to do, dog. I can't let my hand get like that, fool. What are you in here for, dog? Beating off. Get stabbed, you know, get beat up by some Serena. Hey, that's fucking disgusting, clear? And then he just starts taking off on me. So, I was conscientious of that, you know, because I had done weird shit. Like, I remember multiple times my parents would be driving to San Francisco to visit my mom's parents, and I'd be in the back seat, and I'm like one of those guys where if I get a boner, I have to come, or if I don't, I get depressed. I like start making rhyming poetry about my woes and shit. I'm not joking. I get like, I don't know, it's sexual compulsion. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I can't, like, any relationship that I'm in is like constant set, like all day, every day, unless I'm strung out on heroin. Then it's no days, any days. But I remember being in the back of my parents' car with a blanket over me, getting a boner and being like, you know what? I gotta beat off, homeboy. This car ride's got me hot like a fucking hog, homie. You know, like, and I just started beating off. That's fucking odd. The weed's wearing off too, thank God. I'm like, now I'm gonna be a little sharper. And I did start this at 16, so we're gonna go to an hour 16 because this is the $20 tier. Like, I gotta bring my motherfucking A game, and I get that. So, I'd be in the back seat. They'd be driving, and I'd be jerking off with the knee on the blanket, and what I told you, the reverse grip. When you go like this, It doesn't have the same ruffling, obvious beat-off association that other kinds of sheet or blanket moving would definitely evoke, right? People would know. So when I become 18, 19, when my beating off gets like to scary levels, and the reason being is because when I was 18, I got introduced to IV crystal methamphetamine, man. It's fucking bad stuff, bro. It is bad stuff, though. It's hellacious. So I'd go to my boy's house, my boy David, right? Cool guy. Always wore wife beaters, khakis that were folded in Vans. I was like, man, you're cooler than cool. He's like, I already know. But his problem is that he shot meth. Now, this guy was a player, right? He always had these hot-ass bimbos at his house. These fucking... It always looked like this dude was partying with porn stars when I was 18, and I was not the best-looking guy in the world. But I had one of those personalities where I was able to fit in with those girls with him, and, like, you know, I did my thing. And there was a lot of nights when I fucking shot meth, and if there was a girl there, I would go and just say whatever I had to. I'm like, look, my parents have money. If you fuck me, I'll steal thousands of dollars from them and pay you monthly. If you're down. They'd be like, this kid with acne is fucking funny. I'm gonna suck his dick just because it's funny. I love funny. And shit, you know, these girls have like 4 or 5 kids now. If I said their names, they'd probably be super embarrassed, but you know who you are. You'd probably watch. Alright, anyway. As soon as I shot meth with this dude, he always had these girls on, right? And he was one of those guys that would play the acoustic guitar, and he'd serenade these women with his, like, love coos and shit. Like, sometimes I was like, dude, to be completely honest with you, bro, you're making me want to French kiss you. Because that music is fucking fire, homie. You know? And, anyway. There were nights. Now, he lived about 30 minutes from my parents walking, which is nothing. Like, when my ADD is so bad that I get in these manic upswings, right? Where I can't sit still. I have to pace. I have to rock back and forth. People constantly think I'm on meth or cocaine, and I'm not. That's how I am naturally. When I'm on blow, I'm 10 times worse. I'm like, all right. My girl said she's had a threesome. I'm going to go through her Spotify list right now. I'm going to write down every single song, and then I'm going to Google songs that are secretly about threesomes so that I can see and kind of track her listening patterns, know when she wants one. And then I'll trick her. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Oh, you fucking whore. I told you. No, well, kind of. I don't know. Coke makes me a piece of shit for sure. But I've never cheated, and I've never hit her. How bad am I? Not that bad. Those are deal breakers, if you ask me. Anyway, at this particular house, because I got so used to shooting meth, going into the garage, him playing the acoustic, me being like, yeah, I'm a hype dude. I clap, I make rhythms. I have a purpose too. And girls are like, oh my God. I got so used to that routine. Shooting meth in the bathroom, coming out, getting girls that are way out of my league, and perverted ass shit. Like, this one girl was like, yeah, well, she didn't talk like a dude, but she's like, yeah, one thing I like to do is get those Jawbreaker lollipops. They're like that big. I like it when you stick it in my ass and then lick it in front of me, and I'll do it too. And I'm like, I'd be like, I am so spun out. Let's do this. And like eat the lollipop. And so sometimes I would shoot meth, and he'd already swooped up a girl or two, and there's no girls left. So I would be forced, my brothers and sisters, to beat off at his house, right? And it got weird because it wasn't like it is now where you could just get on your smartphone and go to Pornhub. It wasn't like that. I had to have magazines. I looked like some sort of perverted collector or something. I'd have like a fucking binder with me that would have porn magazines that I'd bring like in a backpack just in case I had to beat off. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to write a report on sex. I'll be in the bathroom with this binder. All right, man. That's right. And I go in there and, of course I would get perverted as fuck. And I would rip out pages and I'd put them everywhere and I would just beat off at his house. Now, this happens so often. I used to walk from my parents' house to his house. As soon as I get there, go to the bathroom, do a big old shot of meth, go out to like his living room, which was like generally the meat market, but sometimes I would be forced to beat off. And to give you an idea, I'm beating off 4 or 5 nights a week at his house, maybe a couple nights I luck out, but for the most part, I'm beating off. And when I say beating off, it was like something was going to fall off, like dick flutters away like a balloon that got loose or something. So he ends up figuring it out. Hey dog, are you jerking off in my bathroom, bro? And I'd be like, fuck. If I respond, he knows. If I say nothing, I might not be in here. And I just like be silent, right? And so he would leave. And one time he picked the lock because he had one of those locks that had like the little like, it had like a hole in like the handle, and you could get a clothes hanger, turn it into like a straight poking thing that you'd use to like get a push of crack with, push the door handle, the little hole in the door handle, and the door would open. So he comes in there, I'm butt naked except I have socks on because even I don't like my athlete's feet exposed when I beat off. I don't think I ever have sex with my socks off to this day. Karina just tonight, we were just having sex earlier tonight, and she's like, hey, are your socks on? I was like, yeah, they always are. And she's like, oh, thank God. I thought it might have been your feet. And I was like, ew, your feet feel like socks. That's how fucking shot out you are. I was like, no, those were socks. I am shot out, but yeah, those were socks. And so I'm just sitting there beating off, bent over the counter, butt naked, except for black dress socks, right? And he's like, damn, dog, really? This is disgusting, man. You disgust me, bro. To be honest with you, hey, dog, I don't ever want you back in my bathroom again. I don't care if you have to shit, dude. Shit in your hand and eat it. Like, it's like that, fool. I was like, I mean, all right, you could just tell me don't do this anymore, man. You don't have to threaten me with eating shit. He's like, whoa. So I couldn't do it there anymore. Anyway, sorry, I don't even know. Some text just came in. Lucas is still like, dude, fucking, crypto, we're gonna die. He's like, dude, I'm gonna stab myself in the fucking stomach with a samurai sword. Fuck it, they're not gonna get me, man. I'm like, it's money, bro. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? When I get like that, I just beat off. So anyway, back to the actual beating off. So I wasn't allowed in his bathroom anymore. Like, I couldn't even, like he said, I couldn't even go in there to take a shit or pee. Not that I would ever shit in public. Back then I had some phobia that, I don't know, I felt like people knew. Like after, like I'd shit, wipe, sometimes if I remembered, walk outside and people would be like, what up, man? What were you just doing? I'm like, not shitting. What do you think I was doing? Not shitting. That's what it's what I thought as well, you know. And it made me feel really uncomfortable. So it's hard to admit this. This is difficult for me. I've told people in prison and they've wanted to beat me up. But I'm 35 now and I can own up to my mistakes. So after I was 86 from beating off at this dude's house, I had kind of been like, okay, meth, I'm one of those people. The only thing I want to do is come. I'm like that anyway, but meth, like, gives me some sort of, like, Jesus tapestry or something. Like, I'm, like, super big with it, right? It's like I can, like, make lightning with my hands. I'm just supernova beat off, man. So I would shoot meth at his house, and then I'd be like, look, respect, but I'm gonna go beat off, and I'm leaving your property, dude. I'm gonna go back to my parents and beat off in peace. You know, it's like, I mean, I fought for my beat off rights. I mean, it wasn't just like, I was like, man, all right, yeah, no, tell me what to do. All right, cool. No, I won't do nothing no more. No, I was like, yo, like, I'm gonna do this. So I'd leave his house with every intention to go up to my parents' house. But the horniness, it gets a hold of you like it's a fucking demon. And it's like, has nothing to do with sex. It has nothing to do with love or affection. It has to do with coming. It's like it's something evil is inside of you. And it's like, you will come. You'll fuck an antelope if you have to. And I'm just like, yeah, I see flames. You know, you get like devilish on meth, you know, turns into a different person. So I leave this house, every intention to go up to my parents' house, but I would never make it because I would have this energy flowing through me, telling me, you have to masturbate, and if you don't masturbate, you're a bitch. Lay it down, go lay in the middle of the road, let a car hit you, you're fucking worthless, jerk off, bro. Make us proud. And like, I'm having this concert of like mental health fucking, you know, reverberation in my brain. And I'd go and I'd find the darkest place I could on the street, like on the block home, wide-eyed, methed out. And I'd sit somewhere like on a rock, like sometimes on the side of houses, and I'd just sit in public, beating off, not looking at anything. Like I couldn't see my binder and shit because it was like so dark. I stopped bringing it when David had 86 me from the property because like I was down and I fought for beating off. Like I was all about it. If there was like parades for beat off rights, I'd be there. But after he 86 me, it just made me look like such a dirtbag. Like every time I go there, I like shoot meth and then leave with some binder full of porn. I'm like, all right, man, I gotta go home. It's like, you know, not being able to wait until you get back to a safe place is probably the epitome of some sort of like beat off addict, which I for sure was. So I'd be going onto these properties. And at first I was like really like sketched out about it. Like, you know, like once you start beating off, it doesn't matter because you get hypnotized by it when you're on meth. That's how sex is too. Like you can get in these weird sexual trances with people when you're having sex. And it's like 14, 15 hours. People are like throwing up bile and you're like, just do, who cares? Fucking pump harder. And you're like, oh, it's crazy. Do not do meth, guys. That's fucking disgusting. So as the more I did it, the more that I would get brave with it. All right, I'm gonna go into a creek this time. Yeah, there might be taggers down there. There might be burglars. There might be cops. I don't give a fuck. And I would just be like sitting in some creek with like some graffiti tunnel. And I'm sitting there just beating off, like feeling the cold fucking feeling of creek rocks like on my ass. So I'm like, damn, this moss feels fucking fire, homie. Damn, you know. And then I'd start venturing off like into people's backyards. And that's when shit got weird, because I'd get naked. I'd be this naked werewolf, just like fucking prowling people's properties, beating off, just like spread snow angel out on the fucking lawn. Like, yeah, I don't even care. I fucking love beating off, you know? I'm sorry. The weed has apparently not worn off. I can't believe how bad I'm flailing. It sucks. I really hope that this video is as good as like I'm trying to make it, like in my mind. I can't tell because I'm blazed, you know, but like so far it feels like it's a quality one. So one night, I like the whole concept of this series because it's like less, it's like perved out, but it's like not like, yeah, and it's creepy, but it's not like as personal, you know, where like other people, I never liked kiss and telling. I never was like that. And when you're like that, and for any dudes out there that are younger or want to like improve your relations with women, I'll tell you something that women hate is kissing and telling. I learned that young. And I just was never like that, you know, like, there'd be times where I'd be like fucking someone, I'm like, damn, this is bomb. I wish my homies could see this right now. Oh, it's weird, I'm thinking about my homies while I'm fucking some chick. Oh, brain, I gotta go, man. Not tonight, bro, you know, and, so anyway, so this one night, so I started getting like brave, like I said, but then like being at my parents' house beating off was like always better because if I got home, I'd just go in my room and I would just for hours, you know, the sun would come up, my dad would come in and be like, Ryan, we've got pancakes for you. I'm like, Dad, I burned a lot of calories last night. I'm fucking down. You know, and like I never went to sleep. And I think he knew, I don't know. So this one night, I'm trying to make it to my parents' house and I get fairly close. I'm probably like up 5-10 minutes away, a few blocks away. Big blocks though, like up in the Santa Barbara Riviera, like uphill walk the whole time, covered in sweat. Feels like I jumped into a swimming pool with my clothes on. And I'm not really sure what happened, but like I probably started thinking about boobs or something. Like not with a person, just boobs. Like, we're here. And I was like, oh, you know, I'm almost home, but I can't wait. I can't, nope. I was like howling into the moon and shit. And I go into this property. Never been there before. I don't know who lives there. I don't know shit. I'm getting it, right? I'm like in it's like, I guess a walkway from the front yard to the backyard. The house is like to the right of me. And there was no windows or anything. You know, it was like I was just up against a house. You know, it's like just walls. So I take my clothes off. And I'm laying there beating on. And some guy comes out. But I don't see him. Like, he actually sees me getting it. He sees me stroking my own dick. And he goes, what the fuck? That's all I hear. Right? I hadn't seen him yet. What the fuck? And I look, and it's a guy that's probably 24, 25 years old, right? I have no clothes on. Like, I didn't have my pants down to my ankles. I had nothing on because that was my trip. I'd be all hot, sweaty, and like, fuck, I don't need clothes. I'm on speed, yeah. I'd be like naked. Like, after this, I'm gonna eat some Triscuits. And it'll fucking replenish me. And they're like, just weirdo shit, right? So I hear, what the fuck? And I'm like, and this guy's like 25 years old. He's like, not that big. He's kind of like small. And I just look at him as I'm getting my clothes off. Off. Yeah, I saw this dude. I was like, I need my, they're off. What you trying to do, homeboy? You know, nothing like that. I was trying to put my pants and shirt back on, but I never stopped looking at this guy. Like, I keep eye contact with him the whole time. I remember his face. He wasn't very intimidating. He was like some short guy. He had a goatee, but it was like one of those like bitch goatees where like you could tell that like he's just doing it for the first time, you know? Probably like going through like like a Doors phase. Yeah, no, dude, Jim Morrison, poet, man, poetry. Oh, it's gas, yeah, it's gassy, whatever people say. And I clearly remember that he was getting like intimidated by me. Like he was more threatened by me than I was him, and I was a skinny dope fiend with acne. I had like my little Fear and Loathing tattoo, and I probably like when I put my shirt on like only put it on halfway so you could like see part of it. Yeah, I think, yep, part of a tribe, dude. All we do is get tattoos and beat off, yep, and we beat people up to try to get in our fucking way. That's what it is. But you could tell that this guy, like, was scared of me or something because he was kind of like, you know, he's like, what the fuck, he says, and I put my clothes back on, and I'm looking at him, and he's just like, he's startled. I think he thought I was going to run away. Got my clothes on now, and it's like a Mexican standoff, right? I feel like I should have a holster. I was like, fuck, if he's got something, I am fucked. But I'm not going to back down. You know, my ego was very important to me back then. Couldn't back down from a fight. He goes, what are you doing on my property, man? Like, he's not trying to fight me. I'm like, dude, I thought that I was somewhere else, you know? Oh, come on, man. You expect me to believe that kind of shit? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm sorry, I'm on weed, man, and it makes me, I don't know, I'm like allergic or something, because it makes me act super fucking odd, man. He's like, I should call the goddamn police. And I was like, what good would that do? Weed's everywhere. And he's like really calm at this point, which was odd about it because like, I mean, what would you do if you caught someone beating off in your fucking property? Now, I don't remember the exact exchange, but it was like something to the effect where he was like kind of just like, listen, you need to leave, and I never want to see you again. I'm like, hey man, fair enough. Like, you're not that much older than me. Like, I apologize. Like, honest mistake. You know, I think I've had the gift of gab where I'm able to talk my way out of fucked up situations. A girl walks up at that point, like behind him, puts her hand on his lower back. She's like in Bebe like jumpsuit, right? It like says Bebe on it, Bebe, and it was like a matching jumpsuit set. And she's like, what's going on out here? He's like, this guy was peeing on our lawn. So he lies to her. This is how much of a bitch this dude is. He lies to her about what was happening. I was beating off butt naked. How the fuck can you misconstrue that and think it was peeing? He knew what I was doing, but he didn't want to say it because then I think she would expect him to kill me. If Karina came to me and said that some fucking weird guy with the Fear and Loathing tattoo was laying naked in a pile of his own clothes on the side of our house and beating off, I would fucking grab a Viking helmet, put it on, and I would stab him until his intestines spilled out. And then I would probably, I don't know, make some sort of cement mold of him so that I could like memorialize it. Put a sign like, don't do this, no beating off here. And I was like, hi, I'm Ryan. And she's like, I'm Amy. She tells me her name, and her name really was Amy. That's her real name. I'm like, I'm Ryan. He's like, why are you talking to the guy that was peeing on our property? And she's like, I don't know. He just seems like a guy that made an honest mistake. I was like, I am. I thought that I was somewhere else. I'm obviously not there, man. No harm, no foul. Let's shake hands and it'll all be gravy. And he's like, I'm not going to shake your hand after you were holding your penis with it. It's like, oh, come on. Billy, come on. I said, we good, bro? He's like, yeah, we good. She's like, bye, Ryan. It was nice to meet you. I'm like, bye, Amy. Nice to meet you too. Hope to see you around. I gave her like this like practice like squint of the eyes where it's like, yeah, like if I don't have other places to beat off to right now, we'd be chilling. But I got shit I gotta go do. So I leave. Really awkward exchange, right? I don't remember how long after that. But it was a while. I mean, I know when it was on the timeline, but I'm trying to think of when the incident that I just told. Okay, so the night that this happened was probably a week before I went to Florida the first time and went and, had gone to rehab. All the Mike Virgin stuff happened. The second incident had happened about a week before that. Remember, at that point in my life, I was on the run from the cops because I'd run out of a courtroom. Kate had just left me. I love you, Pooper Daddy. I love you so much, Pooper Daddy. And I was... Skinheads were like trying to kill me because I'd stabbed one of them when he tried to stab me. A lot was going on at that point. And so I'm assuming that it was probably about 6, 7, 8 months after that time that couple caught me, or the guy did. So I go to David's house one night. Now, I hadn't seen him for a long time. And the only reason that I went there was because I had this girlfriend named Brittany at the time. She was a stripper. I don't know if you remember me ever talking about her. We dated for a little bit. She worked at the Spearmint Rhino. Her dancing name was Sugar. And so I was dancing with her. I was like, dating her at the time. And she came over to David's house and we were shooting meth and we were hooking up. And she, out of nowhere, she's like, I gotta go home. Something about her dad. She was probably like a year younger than me at the time. So I was like 19. She was like 18 at the time and she was already stripping. And anyway, what ends up happening is she leaves because I guess like something happened with her dad or whatever. And I'm stuck at David's house alone again. And this is like in the middle of one of those like hypnotic sex trances that I talk about. So I had to beat off. And I told David, I was like, look, man, my girl's gone. I gotta go. He's like, yeah, you gotta go beat off. Sure enough, man. And, hold on. Did I just smoke? Did I just smoke a cigarette? Where's, Nick Chimmy sent me these, CBD cigarettes. They're from Mountain Organic Hemp Smokes, and they have CBD. He sent them to me, and that was super generous of you. I appreciate it. Sent me a few packs. They're really good. I smoke them all the time, and my friends like them too. I appreciate you, bro. But anyway, I end up leaving his house. I go back to that house, right? Take my clothes off again. Like, I hadn't done it for a long time. It was like a relapse or something. I went back to the same house on purpose. Like, I don't know. Like, imagining that the girl would find me instead, like, whatever. Being a super creep. And I'm laying on the side of this house beating off. And all of a sudden I hear the female voice. She catches it. It's like exactly what I wanted to happen actually ends up happening. She's like, what the hell are you doing? It was the same thing as before, but instead of the guy's voice, it was hers. And it was the fucking girl without him. It was just her. and we will get back. I mean, we will finish, not get back. See, weed fucks me up. I hope that this video is as good as I intended to make it. When I'm stoned, I'm a little slower. Comedy's a little different. Impersonations are a little off. But I really put my all into this. I hope you enjoy it. I appreciate you guys on the $20 tier and up. I really do love you guys. Palabra.